Right, hello everybody. If you're interested in skips and waste and rubbish and anything to do with that, trucks, all that, you are in the right place. So, new year, new video. As you can see, my friend has got Snap-on hoodie, what I think it is, and he's got my name put on it. So, thanks for that, Phil. You're a good lad. What I want to talk about today is vehicle trackers. So, we've got trucks with trackers on it. And I see a lot of advertisements, a lot of companies ringing us up saying, oh yeah, do you want a tracker and everything else? Do you know what? I'm going to give you an honest opinion if it's worth having a tracker and how much you realistically should be paying. So I have got a green screen of one of my mates, which is behind me, who used to do gaming. And I'm going to try and put some sort of advertisement from our business or something on the back of here. Because one thing with YouTube videos, what you have to remember is I was talking to a guy earlier who rang up for a PTO on a truck. He said he enjoyed the videos. These videos take between an hour and 2 hours to make, which is every single day. And it's just having time to do it. So if anybody would like to have their business sponsored in one of these videos, just let me know. I won't charge you much money, even if like 20 quid, 50 quid, whatever, just to cover my time, and send me whatever you have and I'll do an honest review on it. Might be trackers. I mean, I've got a skip yard and everything else, so I might be able to do something. What about if you sell insurance? I can ring up, pretend to be a customer and see what it's like. A lot of people want insurance. But anyway, that's just an idea. Anybody wants me to help them, I'm more than happy. But going back to trackers, right, so we run 10 trucks at this business and we have quite a large number of small transit size vehicles. So we have trackers on all the skip trucks, which is the little vehicles and the big vehicles. And we use subcontractors for the transits, but they all have trackers on as well. When a company comes into you with a tracker, they will approach you and say, okay, right, if you spend 20 quid a month, 30 quid a month, 50 quid a month, let me tell you something now. A tracker, the cost of a tracker, I'm going to show you, I'm going to put a link to an eBay listing here. You can go out and buy your own tracker for about £20. A tracker, in essence, is a mobile phone that works by a SIM card. Mobile SIM cards are mobile phones which work on 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G. Basically, how it works is you have a SIM card, which is here, and then you have a couple of masts, 1, 2, and 3, for instance, and by working out where the distance is from the SIM card to the 3 masts or 4 masts, it basically tells you where you are. And all a SIM card and a tracker is doing is sending these coordinates all the time to your tracking software, and you'll just log into it and that's it. So you can buy your own tracker for 20 quid and then you need a SIM card. You can go on giffgaff or one of these cheaper networks, pay £5, and that will last you for, a full year is going to be £60 and that's it. So your total investment would be £60 and 25 quid for your tracker, 85 quid for a full year. But then obviously you've still got your tracker. I made a big mistake once. I had a tracker on a truck and I had a pay-as-you-go SIM card, a contract SIM card in it, one that was data only, which is what you need for a tracker. And I exported the lorry to Ghana. The tracker was taken out, and then I had some young gentleman in Ghana ringing all his friends on my SIM card. That is a true story. I got a bill from the company for about 500 quid before I realised what was going on. What a nightmare. So if ever you get rid of it, make sure you take your tracker out. But what does a tracker offer to your company? Well, the first thing is, what I would say to you is it looks very professional. So if a company rings up and says, hey mate, where's my skip? You can say, right, the lad's on the way and he is on Leeds Road, for instance, or Beverley Road, or wherever, whatever place you want to say, Hull Road, Leeds Road, Birmingham Road, London Road, and he's on the way and will be 10 minutes. It makes you look very, very professional. And the other thing is, we was once accused of crashing into a car, and the customer said it was a lorry which was white and pink, which is our colours, and you crashed into us at 4 o'clock. It was only round the corner from here. So I looked on the trackers and there was no lorry in that area. So I rung the woman the day after. I told her it wasn't us. And then she rang me back, apologised and said it was another skip lorry, but it wasn't pink, it was orange. So that could have resulted in a claim potentially. She made contact to the police, said one of our trucks has hit it, and the police, I don't know what they would have done, but that would stop you from getting done. A tracker will store all its information for 6 full months, 12 months, 2 years. If you get the free service, which I've had before on these cheap trackers from eBay and paying the £5 a month for my own SIM card, the only problem is with them is you have to pay for data storage. So if you want data storing for 2, 3, 4 years, 10 years, you'll be paying for it. Nothing's really free. If you use the tracking company's software where they come out, they'll send a man out, he'll put the tracker in the truck, they'll log you into the app, and what they're trying to do is get you to buy loads and loads of trackers for all your vehicles. However, you will get quite a lot of storage with that deal, usually. The other thing with the tracker, what a lot of people get them for is because drivers, basically, to put it politely, take the piss. So you get a driver, he's going here, he's going everywhere, he's going to see his girlfriend. Drivers who get new girlfriends, they are a nightmare. Especially if you've got a young lad, somebody 30, he's got himself a new girlfriend. Youngish lads, they are every dinner time sat waiting to meet him and everything else. And if your driver is going to sit somewhere for an hour, 2 hours, half an hour, or whatever else, that is time you are losing. And also the transport to and from. And also, with the price of fuel, it will make a big difference. The other thing with trackers is that if you've got them fitted to a vehicle, you'll usually find that the staff actually will do a more professional job. So, for instance, you know where your truck is, you know where your vehicle is, and your driver knows that and it will stop them playing any games. The other thing with a lot of these modern trackers is you can get one that has a sat-nav built into it and an actual positioning system and job software. So what you can actually do with the new trackers, you can assign work to a tracker very similar to our taxi one works. So the taxi driver presses clear, he's finished his job, and then they will give him another job. Just click the button and he can accept where he wants to go. With the new trackers, which some of the bigger companies might have, the driver might click that he's finished his job, and then, for instance, we're using a skip as an example, they will send him to pick up the closest skip. So the software for the tracker will integrate with the software for the skip hire. So they'll work together. We use a company for our tracking software and our skip hire software, and they don't go together. So that's not ideal, but there is companies now that are making new systems. The company we use for our software for skip hire, it's quite old software. We've had it for 15 years. It's a little bit out of date, but you work with what you've got. Your database is built up. You've got obviously your customers on there, so you don't like to change. So the potential saving from drivers driving to and forward and messing about and not being able to find skips is a real pain in the backside. These new tracker systems also have a sat-nav built in, so they will literally take the driver straight to the coordinates you put into the sat-nav. The new modern system, the office will send the job to the driver, the tracker will find that skip's address and postcode, the office will do it, and it will take the lorry straight to where it's supposed to be going. So imagine the fuel saving. And the other thing that with a tracker that really does make a difference is that you can actually get drivers to compete against each other, not in a way that drive like a maniac, but you can say, right, we need minimum 5 skips delivered every day, and we need minimum 5 skips picking up. For instance, let's say you're in London and it's real busy. You might say to your drivers, we allow 1 skip per hour, and that is it. So the office can give the job straight to the actual tracker itself. The driver will have a display in his cab, and the sat-nav will take him straight to the job, saving you a fortune. So it is potentially a really good thing to have. And the big thing is, with a tracker, you can also tell it that the truck doesn't move between certain times. So you can put a geofence, which means there's an area you put on a map and all the trucks will be in that location on an evening. And if the trucks leave that location, then it will send you a text message, call your phone, send you an email or something like that, which is a good thing to do. Also with trackers, You can put a geofence during the day. So you can say, right, that during the day, or the local pub, or the local casino, or whatever, wherever you don't want that truck to go, that truck is not allowed to go during the day. And if it does, it will send you a text message. So it's quite handy technology to actually have. It will save you a lot of time. And the big thing to think about also is if your vehicle gets pinched. So if your vehicle's pinched, it can be a real nightmare to deal with insurance companies and everybody else. And at the end of the day, who'd want to do it? If you fit in a tracker that is actually for some sort of security or defense of theft, don't put your tracker under the steering wheel where everybody else puts them. What you've got to remember is with a vehicle, when you take them apart, there's actually not that much to a vehicle. So when the dash is out, so when we do repair work to these vehicles, we might take the dash out or take the door off or something like that. It's actually, there's not a lot behind there. You've got a steering wheel, a fuel wires and a fuse box. Trackers and things like that stand out like a sore thumb. Not that we'd ever take one off for any other reason apart from if it was fitting one or replacing one. But if you've got one and you've put it on there, which is to be hidden and not seen and everything else, the best thing to get is probably one of the relay trackers. So you can actually get a tracker now that is only this big. It is absolutely tiny and it will go into your fuse board. So things like that are quite handy. You can also get ones that have a 5-day battery life, and you know, there's a lot of different things that you can do. So it's definitely worth giving it a little bit of thought of whereabouts it's going to go if security is the main thing in mind. Because if somebody does steal your vehicle, there will be some time between it being stolen and before the people can actually take off the tracker on the vehicle. And that time when it's stolen and it's moving, your tracker's rang you and it gives you half a chance of actually getting your vehicle back. So the question comes, would I get a tracker? Well, I've got trackers on all our vehicles, and it's actually quite nice to be able to tell your customer when the truck will be arriving or whatever else. It makes you look professional. For a small company, it might put you off spending, 20 quid a month. If you go one of the bigger companies, 20, 25 quid a month. But you can go on eBay and buy your own, and they're so simple to set up. It's the equivalent of fitting a stereo to a car. You have a lav, you have a switch lav, comes on with your ignition. You'll have a small antenna and a negative. There's not much more to it. You maybe have a small antenna that'll run up the side of the windscreen or something like that. But there's not a lot to them at all. You can fit them yourself. Instructions come with them. You can also get some that'll actually turn the vehicle off, so you can run a lav into your ignition and it'll turn the ignition off. There's a lot of things you can do with them, and they don't necessarily cost that much money. But I would definitely say that if you're a company that intends to stay around and last a long time, they are definitely worth having. But there's one last thing to mention to you. If you are running bent in any way, let me tell you, you will be caught out quick sticks with a tracker. Because you've got to remember, every move that truck makes will be recorded and can be gotten back. So, for instance, you might have a truck going somewhere it shouldn't be. On a tacho, don't matter. On a tracker, it does. So, listen, it's not for boys who are up to no good, but we don't condone that anyway. It's easy to just do things right. But just bear that in mind, that some of the stories you hear, people getting caught doing stuff, fly tipping or whatever it is you see in the paper. These boys get caught with trackers and everything else. Just stupidity, innit? Just stupidity, and you shouldn't do it in the first place. But anyway, my opinion is you should get a tracker. And if anybody wants me to do a video on any of their products, give me a shout. I'd love to do a video and review your tracker if you've got one. So I will see you soon. Bye.